Good afternoon and welcome to anybody watching on the replay or anyone watching from my YouTube channel. I'm very happy to be here this afternoon and I really wanted to speak about this topic because it's such an important topic and it really influences your whole life, really. So 3 tips on how to change your self-talk. And why is it really important that we need to make sure that we speak to ourselves kindly and nicely? Well, we're with ourselves 24 hours of the day, 7 days a week for the rest of our life. So really trying to make it a priority that you speak to yourself lovingly and kindly. And something about this is we weren't born with negative self-talk. So it's a conditioning of the mind, a habit that's been picked up throughout life for whatever reason, one or the other. It doesn't matter the reasons. The point is, if you have negative self-talk, it needs to be changed to positive self-talk or uplifting or empowering self-talk. Because if you are speaking to yourself negatively, it's very unpleasant and it will make you feel really, really bad about yourself. So remember that the outside world is a reflection of your inside world. So how you see yourself, how you're speaking to yourself and what you're saying to yourself is going to reflect on your outside world. So how you would know if you're generally going in a state of positivity is because things seem to be working out quite well for you and you feel really good about yourself. So if most of the times you're not feeling good about yourself and you have feelings of maybe guilt and shame and embarrassment and things like this, it would be an indication that you're not feeling really good about yourself. And if you're not feeling really good about yourself, the number one reason for this would be, one of the top number one reasons with this is this: the fact is how you speak to yourself. Now, sometimes people aren't aware, they're not aware of actually how loud their voice is. So this would be my first tip. Become absolutely aware as much as you can of what you're saying to yourself. So this is why I talk about stillness a lot and getting quiet for just a few moments so that you can hear your voice and you can hear what your mind, your self-talk is saying to you. Which is actually different to your inner voice and your instinct and your intuition. That's different to the negative self-talk. But sometimes people try and drown out the noise because they don't want to hear what's in their mind. And sometimes we need to hear the negative self-talk so we know there's something that needs to be changed. So it's important not to distract yourself and not to try and drown out the negative self-talking. That's not the way to do it. It's not the way to do it, is to distract it and drown it out, because you need to actually hear what it's saying. And the reason you need to hear it is so that you can make a change. And one change would be to acknowledge it and accept it and let it go. So let it come and let it go. Let it come and let it go. Not to block it and stop it. If we block it and stop it, this is counterproductive because it's going to get louder and louder and louder. So tip 1 was to become aware of the thoughts and your voice, the inner critic. And tip 2 is to not block it. Let it come, hear what it's saying, acknowledge it, and then once you're at that place, you're able to do something about it. So tip 3 would be to reword what it's saying to you. So sometimes your inner critic will say, I'm not good enough, or I'm too thin, I'm too short, I'm too fat, I'm too this, I'm too that. So what you would do is, or it might say I'm lazy. So what you would do is you would reword whatever your top inner critic or negative self-talk is. So I urge you to say to yourself, well, what's the one thing? Find the one thing that your inner critic says to you that you know you need to change. So if it's something like, I'm not good enough at this, what you would do is you would say, I'm doing the best that I can at this and it's good enough. I'm doing the best that I can and it's good enough. Now, it doesn't have to be that, but whatever your inner critic or your negative self-talk, number one top thing for you is, I want you to reword this into a positive affirmation. Okay, and make it so that it fits right for you and it feels good for you. And I urge you to write it down and put it where you can see it in your house or wherever, beside your bed or in your bathroom. And if you want to keep it private, put it in your drawer, in your locker, bedside locker, and keep it just for you. But I urge you to repeat this as often as you can, because what you're doing is you're just reconditioning what your mind is already saying to you. When your mind is speaking to you, this is hundreds of times during the day, whether you're aware of it or not. It's going on all the time in your mind, in the back of your mind. So unless you change that, you're going to keep believing it. So how you live your life is by the way your negative self-talk or positive self-talk is talking to you. And in a lot of cases, people have fallen into a place of going from positive self-talk when they were very small children into a space of insecurity and negative self-talk. And this needs to be changed, because if it's not, it becomes louder, it gets the better of us, it makes us feel awful, and it will reflect our life. And generally, you're not living the most peaceful life that you could actually be living. And it's as simple as changing your self-talk. This is a huge area of trying to bring peace and attract peace into your life, is your self-talk. So I urge you that you would go and write your new affirmation down and say it as often as you can. Say, if you're in the shower, you can repeat it over and over and over. If you drive, say it in the car, repeating it over and over and over. When you're having time alone at home, repeat it over and over. And if you're in company most of the time and you don't have a chance to say it out loud, repeat it in your mind. It's so important. And mainly negative self-talk comes to self-esteem, and it's generally to do with the fact that you don't accept yourself or approve of yourself or even love yourself. And these are very strong affirmations that you can use as well. And the late Louise Hay, her top affirmations are: I approve of myself, I accept myself, and I love myself. And if you can repeat these, even Louise Hay says to say 400 times a day, I approve of myself, is not enough. So this is a work in progress that we need to try and bring into our life. And you're unlearning the negative self-talk to move into the positive self-talk, and it's building you up, it's empowering you. This becomes a habit, and then you will start doing this spontaneously. And the more this happens with you, the better you will feel about you, the better you will create the conditions around you, and your life will start improving. Although it doesn't happen straight away, we've got to be patient, but you've got to work on it and keep doing it every day. So I hope that helps, and have a lovely rest of your afternoon.